Good morning. This is Roger DeMuth, and I wanted to give you a sneak preview of a project I've been working on for the past month. And these are all watercolor paintings with a light sketch underneath. And this is the proposed cover, or the tentative cover right now. And I always start out with a pencil sketch. This is Arches 300-pound hot press watercolor paper. And these are the scraps that are left over that I save everything. And the tiny pieces I use to check out my colors while I'm working on them. But so this is a sketch. I work from my iPad, and I do the sketches in the living room while we're watching movies on Netflix, and just hold the image on the iPad in front of me while I'm sketching in my lap. And the real quick sketches, this is a 5-minute sketch. Yeah, most of them are not longer than 5 minutes. It's just to give me a rough idea. And a Victorian house with a ladder. They always have a ladder next to them. And that's important for Victorians. They're all falling apart, and so the ladder holds it up. And a little sketch. These are about 5 by 7 inches, and this Victorian is in Earlville, New York. This is an alley in Utica, and it's a great alley in the last remaining section of the old downtown, and a winter painting. And this is how I start them. So this is a very tiny watercolor. It'll be about, I guess it's about 2¼ to 2½ inches square. And this is a lovely storefront in Hudson, New York, which is a delightful little town. And then I add the watercolors to it. Sometimes, most of the times I just hate them, that they're, you know, I've gone too heavy too immediately, and then I add some gouache to it and lighten it up at the end. So here are some of the titles for the pages, and it may be organized by regions, or the title is Roadside Attractions from here to there. So I can do anything I want. This is kind of neat. I've photographed and done oil paintings of this same scene. This is the western entrance to a little tiny town called Oriskany Falls. It's quite a lovely place, a beautiful farm, and the canal went right through here one time. All of these are 5½, 8½, and they're probably do a blurb book or mag cloud book, one or the other. And I've done a dozen books so far. This is a beautiful little house in Monhegan Island in Maine, and took the ferry across one day. And the Eaton Historical Society, not too far from here, beautiful stone house. If you're near Eaton, pay attention to the lintel over the front door. I've never been inside, but I've looked in the windows. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. Our son works for Christopher Spitzmiller in, this is Clove Brook Farm in southern part, I think it could be LaGrangeville, New York, and beautiful federal style house, early 1800s, and lovely gardens all around. And this is a farm on Indian Opening Road, and it's right on the border of Madison and Bouckville, and done dozens of paintings of this place. You can see the tops of the buildings. There's no trees around this place, so it's really, there's a couple in front of the house, but the rest is pretty barren on a wet day. Very pretty. We just painted at the Eckel home here in Cazenovia, and beautiful federal style upright house from 1828, I believe. And go out painting with our group every Friday, or as much as we can. Now it's whenever it's over 60 degrees, 65 degrees, somewhere in there. So but a beautiful house, and the gardens and trees are beautifully maintained. This is the Colonel William Osborne Mansion in Waterville, New York, and it's a great old place. Look at the turret on the carriage barn, and I just wrote them a letter, so I hope we'll go out painting with our group this fall, or perhaps during the winter sometime, or definitely in the spring. This is a Sanger Mansion owned by Norman Deep from Waterville, and it was a 55-room house built for Teddy Roosevelt's Minister of War, and he wanted to rename Waterville, or name Waterville Sangertown, Sangerville, I guess. And it's just around the corner from us on the lake. Rhoda Lerman's house, and a doctor has just completely renovated the whole house, and it's the last of the Stanford White buildings that are private residences. Link Lane Street in Cazenovia. It's kind of a nice little house, federal style, with a beautiful arch top on it, fan light. And some of these are winter paintings, and they're some of my favorites because I'm trying to get as much depth out of them as I can, and distance in the painting. And this is a lovely little house on corner of Route 80 and in New Woodstock. We've gone out to the Cody Farm a number of times, and it's just a great old farm. They've never painted it, and it just the stonework is gorgeous, and so I've done dozens of paintings of this. This is Link Lane Street in the village of Cazenovia. Caz College on the right, and Carol Herbert's house on the left, right next to the post office. These are tiny. I think this is about 3 inches by 6 inches. I think this scene is in West Eaton, and south of Eaton, but it's a neat old place. Look at that. They just plowed it, and I kind of forget that it's a paved road, make them into dirt roads. It's kind of nicer. And this great tree is on East Road here in the town of Cazenovia. There's 2 roads. No one knows the name of each of them, so the way to remember it is east is west of 9 Road. So this is East Road. Oh, I always work from my own reference, but in this instance, this is a sketch I did of Margaret Suckley's house, and this was in the New York Times, but when we were there, they wouldn't let us photograph inside the house, so I had to work from this, and I just love this picture in the Times. Here's Margaret sitting in this little chair in this great room, you know, with super high ceilings, and the interior was designed by Louis Comfort Tiffany, and so it's a treasure house. And they do have a very long tour though, so I'm not very good at tours, and I just want to go in, look at it, take a million pictures, and scoot out the door. But sometimes they don't like you to do that. And this is a winter painting of the exterior of the house. It's a treasure house. Look at that. And I've tried to give it as it was foggy and snowy while we were there. And it's called Wildenstein, owned by the Wildenstein family. And isn't that lovely? So anyway, now you know what I'm doing, and stay tuned. I've got 103 paintings that I finished this 1 month alone, November, and I've got 88 from a former time, the little tiny ones about 2 by 3 inches, and then there's 12 to 15 of a slightly larger size that I'm trying to incorporate in the book. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.